Welcome to this special episode of 18th Century Cooking. We're going to be doing something celebratory today. We're in the cabin. It's the end of the year. It's like New Year's Eve, and we thought we would do something kind of extra special. We'll be doing a heated drink. This one's called a flip, very popular in the 18th century, and we'll be doing a recipe from the very early 19th century. This one should taste great. So this particular drink is called a flip, and we see references to this term flip in the late 17th century, all through the 18th century. But this recipe is from 1822 because while we get references to it early on, we don't necessarily get a great description. This is a good description of it. To make a quart of flip, put the ale on the fire to warm. Beat up 3 or 4 eggs with 4 ounces of moist sugar, a teaspoonful of grated nutmeg or ginger, and a quartern of good old rum or brandy. When the ale is near to boil, put it into one pitcher, and the rum and the eggs, etc., into another, and turn it from one pitcher into another till it is smooth as cream. Then you serve it up. Well, we're ready to get started here. I've got probably about a quart of ale. I've got in this little vessel here, and we're going to put it to warm by the fire. We don't want it to boil up too fast. I'm going to go and work on getting the other ingredients ready. Okay, the ale is on the fire. What other ingredients do we need? I've got some eggs here. Probably going to use 3 or 4 eggs. We have sugar. That's one of the other main ingredients here. And this is a simple sort of a raw sugar, which is similar to the less expensive sugars in the 18th century. I've got about a teaspoon of ground ginger. I've got some nutmeg. And the final ingredient, we need either brandy or rum. So I've got a rum here, which is a little bit more classic for a North American version of this. If we were doing an earlier English version, we would be using brandy. Here we're doing classic New England rum, right? So let's get these ingredients mixed up in here, and I'll start to whisk them up. Our drink is ready. It is ready. And if you're curious about that little piece at the end, you kind of really want to rewarm this drink up because you've poured it back and forth in a cool day, cold day like today. You want to warm this back up. So we used a toddy rod or a mulling poker, or it has a flip dog. Great bunch of great names. This one's made out of wrought iron. You heat this up in the fireplace, plunge it into your cold drink to warm it up. So that's what we used for that. But before this cools down, let's try out our heated up flip to see what it ends up tasting like. That is so good. When I first read this recipe, and I said, okay, so this is like 2/3 ale. I am not a fan of hot ale or warmed up ale. Mixed with the herbs, the sugar, the rum, this is incredible. This is truly, you could drink this all day long. This is so good. and warmed up, even better. I am just totally impressed by this drink. I can see why you see over and over in the 18th century references to this. There's this wonderful sort of diary where a person's talking about going into this tavern, like 2 or 3 times a week, and he's always drinking Flip. So I can see why he was a great fan of this drink. These episodes here in the cabin, I just have so much fun with them. This is a wonderful place to sit down and cook. And I'm glad you were able to come along today as we sit by the fire and we try these things out, experiment and see exactly what it was like to sit in a cabin in the 18th century and make your food or make a drink. So if you're interested in any of the things you've seen today, whether it's a toddy warmer or a mug or any of the other equipment we used, make sure to check out a link down in the description section. And thanks for coming along with us today as we savor the flavors and the aromas of the 18th century, and Happy New Year.